What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder. This time, we're not taken to the sky in anything. I noticed something on my channel, and that was that my most watched video, believe it or not, somehow, not my montages, not my jet gameplay, but my how to grind video from, I don't know, it must have been close to a year ago, maybe like last October or something. But I was just not okay with that. I wasn't bad back then, but my quality wasn't as good as it is now. I didn't have as much information, of course, as a year has gone by. Maybe it's only been 6 months or so, but it's been a long time. And I felt like I should remake the video. My thoughts were kind of like spewing all over the place, and I kind of feel like I can give you guys a little bit better advice now. Now, I'm not going to be going over tanks. I'm going to save that for a later video because I feel like I still need more practice with tanks before I can start giving advice to people. But with planes, I'm fairly decent. I have been playing for I think it's going on 3 years now, 3.5 years, somewhere around there. And so, I've gotten a lot of information. I've done 2 accounts. This is, of course, my second account. But I've gone through a lot of planes. So let's talk about it. And I'm going to go from the standpoint that I am a new player. Maybe I have tier 1, tier 2, maybe breaking into tier 3. And it's starting to look like a lot of work. And it is a lot of work. As you can see, I grinded these planes ages ago. I still haven't went back and actually grinded the ones that they've recently added. Like the newer P-47s and some of these P-36s and stuff. I just have not had the time to go back and actually research them. Luckily enough, though, I am getting most of the jets, and I am not looking forward to spading some of these, starting to at least, but, I will eventually get there. But let's talk about new players. So most players are going to hop on this game, and they're going to see quite literally, I think there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of planes, especially the German line. I don't even have that grinded out a ton. You'll notice that I don't have a ton of planes, and that's really because I just focus on the ones that I like to play, which is a select few. I mean, there's a lot of planes I do like to fly, don't get me wrong, but there's certain planes that I just cannot get enough of, and I tend to fly them a lot. And once you break into these tier 5s and stuff, it's really hard to go back and actually get these unlocked. Kind of painstaking. So I will probably go ahead and do that with the premiums. But let's talk about that. Now, when you jump on, you're going to see these hundreds of planes. Like I said, maybe you're right here, somewhere in the P-39s and the F-6Fs, and you're just realizing that the grind is absolutely insane. And don't get me wrong, that's a definite possibility. There's so many planes and so many tanks, it can be overwhelming. And I'm just going to throw this out here right now. People are not going to like this, people are going to be mad, but what you have to remember is that this is a free-to-play game. You can grind. I know people that have grinded all the way up to the F2 Saber, unlocked it, have spaded it without paying a dime. I'm really not like that, though. I've been playing this game, like I said, for 3.5 years. It's probably my longest running game that I've played, and we're talking like not a whole series, but as a single game, I've probably put more hours into this than most other, maybe all the other games. So you're going to need, if you want to do this quickly, a premium account. Premium account will give you, let's see, what did they update it? 100% research points, 50% more lines. And it's a little different in every type of battle. But it's not too expensive. I think it's about $8 or $9 for a full month, which is what I tend to do. Or you can save some more money and, spend a little bit more golden eagles, get it for 90 days or 365. These are less. 365 days will cost you less than if you bought a 30-day every month. But a lot of people don't have that kind of money to go and spend on a free-to-play game, so I completely understand that. But this is fairly necessary. If you want to grind up fast, premium accounts are the way to go. Now, another way you could go is through planes like this. Premium high tier planes. I don't recommend buying anything from this tier actually, except for the BF-109 and a couple select planes throughout the other tier trees. I recommend saving up a little bit, buying a tier 5 premium, because it's going to allow you to not only grind through the tier 3s and the tier 4 planes extremely quickly, but also break into the jets, and you still will be able to use your props that you have over here, the premium ones, to grind out the jets. If you grind out jets with a tier 3 premium, it's not going to be very quickly. As we can see here, tier 5s do not go very quickly, 1 through 4 ranks. So I recommend tier 5s. Personally, I recommend a premium account and a premium plane, but I know that can get fairly expensive fairly quickly, especially with some of the planes like, for instance, the Focke-Wulf 190 in the Russian lineup, 7,400 Golden Eagles, and the British have some expensive ones too. A lot of these are bundles though, and a lot of the bundles can go for 20, anywhere from 15, $40, and that's a lot to spend on a free-to-play game. But if you want to grind up super quickly, the fastest way to do it is with a premium account and a premium plane. I normally have premium. Looks like I actually need to go update it though. But there's just no way of getting around that. You can do everything for free, and it's just going to take you a little bit longer. In fact, well, it's actually going to take you quite a bit longer. But it's not undoable. You can manage to do it, especially if you're fairly good and you sink quite a bit of time into it. But if I had to choose between the premium account and the premium plane, I would personally go for the premium account. Not only is it going to allow you to research both tanks and planes from all nations more quickly, in fact double the rate, it's going to allow you to, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it again. If you go out and buy a 7,500 Golden Eagle plane like the Focke-Wulf, you're going to be stuck with that plane. And if you don't like it, there's nothing you can do. You can't rent a plane. That's something I think would be cool. Rent it for 100 Golden Eagles to see if you like it. But as you can see, I have not even bought these planes. They just do not interest me. The Russian line isn't that fun in my personal opinion. So I don't spend a lot of time on it. So yeah, that's it for the premium stuff. It will increase your actual grinding rate quite fast. In fact, I can give you a real number here. For instance, with the A26, this is a 356 RP bonus. With the 100% up there, it makes grinding stuff quite easy. It's not actually the plane I use, but if I do need to grind something out really, really fast, that's where I go. So let's talk about actual tactics now for grinding. Now, first things first, if you are going to grind silver lines, I've had the most success with actual bombers. Go in with an actual heavy bomber, preferably. Get 2 or 3 bases killed, and then simply just go full dogfighter mode. Try to get at least 1 kill. You'll notice that your lions tend to, actually raise fairly quickly. Bombers are not that great for RP in my personal opinion. Please keep in mind, guys, everything I'm saying in this video is subject to change, of course, in the future, and is my personal opinion. I'm just telling you guys what I think and how I've done it. Now, for actual RP bonuses, I prefer to take out the best fighter I currently have. Now, for instance, if I was only available, or if the only planes available to me were the tier 2 planes, I would go for something like the P-39, or actually the P-38. In my opinion, is probably the best at tier 2 American. You want to go for something that A, has a fairly cheap repair cost, and as we can see, a max repair cost of 3,000 lions, you're going to make that incredibly easy. So it's not going to cost you a ton to repair it. It's a really, really decent plane. You're going to be able to get anywhere from 1 to 4 kills with it, and that's going to rack up your RP quite quickly. Now, I'm just using the P-38 as an example. For instance, if I was in Germany, I'd probably use the Bf-109E series, the later ones. Russia, of course, the Yaks. British, I would personally go for the Spitfire Mark 1B. Mark 2B. It's a great plane, and if I was in Japan, well, you can't really go wrong. Pretty much everything in this tier is fairly good. and wow, they have added a lot of planes. I'm gonna have to go back and research. But yeah, use your best fighter. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's gonna get you the most kills. Even if it's not the best one, use the one that you can consistently go out and get 2 to 3 kills with per game. I know it sounds difficult to some of you guys, but just practice, you will eventually get there. Now, when I say best plane, it's a little funny, especially once you get up into the later tiers, because you will have stuff like the F8F, the F8F1B, the F7F, all amazing planes. But like I said, use the most consistent plane. Just because you have an epic game in the F7F where you get 6 kills does not mean you're going to be able to go out there every single time and get those 6 kills. You may find out that was just kind of a luck of a draw, and you can only really get 1 to 2 kills. But in the F8F, you can get 3 to 4 kills every game. Go with the F8F. It may not give you that huge one big game, but it gives you consistency. Consistency is what you need to grind. You can see I don't really grind out bombers because I'm too busy grinding out this stuff, and I just prefer not to fly bombers. They're not very entertaining in my personal opinion. So yeah, that's what I recommend doing, grinding through the planes. Now, of course, you're going to have, hours and hours and hours and hundreds of hours, and what's going to seem like an infinite amount of time. And you guys think this is bad. Actually, when I first started Warthunder, I thought that was bad. But, oh my god, it has gotten so much, not worse, of course, more planes is always better, but it has gotten far, far more scary. In fact, when I first started, this whole line was not even here. The late meteors, the Venom wasn't here, Hunter wasn't here, Canberras weren't here. So there was a lot less to grind. And as you can see, I'm still grinding out a lot of stuff. I don't get a ton of time to play, so it can make it quite interesting and difficult. That's why I normally tend to go with the premium account and the premium actual planes. Now, I would say I will go over the premium planes, and so I'm going to do that real quick now. So, in the actual Japanese lineup, I can't speak for any of these planes. I've kind of heard bad things about the J2M5. The J2M4, I think, is fairly good. I would go watch, if you're not sure, go watch reviews on these planes. They are up on YouTube, but one thing I can recommend is both the A7M1 and the Focke-Wulf 190A5. I personally prefer the A7M1. It's an absolute seal clubber, still at 4.0. There's just a lot of dumb pilots on American teams. Not to mention, you get an actual air start on most maps. So this is going to get you a lot of credits quite quickly. I don't know how much it actually costs because, like I said, I bought it a long time ago. But it's actually one of the few Tier 3 planes I actually can recommend. Moving on to the British line. Now, when I originally bought this plane, it was the only one available. This wasn't here, the Wyvern, of course, and what is this, the Mark 14, 16, I'm terrible Roman numerals. But these two are amazing, amazing planes. I personally have grinded out most of the British line with this lineup, just the Spitfire, and this one was not here. Now, personally, if I was going to do it again, I would probably go with this one that I have. Now, the advantage of this one is that it does get the 250 cals and a little bit better of a roll rate, as we can see. Is it going to give it to me? No, it will not. But this one has a much higher a much higher top speed, better acceleration, better climb rate. It even turns better. So that's what I recommend going with. It's a really great plane. There's lots of videos of it up on my channel if you guys are interested. Now for the Russians, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Now on my old account, before I actually started doing War Thunder, I had the P-47. Not recommended. I wouldn't buy it again. Personally, I mean, it's a great plane, especially with the P-63 at 3.7s. You're going to have a lot of fun. Like I said, though, the Tier 3, I would never buy a Tier 3 premium again. I would just go for the Tier 4. That's really why I haven't bought a Tier 4 in Russia, though. First of all, the Yaks are better in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of the LA-7s. I'm not a fan of the D-9s. And I'm a great fan, don't get me wrong, of the Yak 3. But personally, I would just go put a Tailsman on something like this. And this is the next thing I kind of wanted to get into. Tailsmen on these types of planes can be huge. For instance, I know a lot of people, and I'm going to be hated on, like the Yak 3P. Well, if you go and buy a Tailsman, it gives you 100% RP more. So it doubles your earnings per game, and it costs way less than a Tier 4 premium. And if you can go and consistently get those 3 to 4 kills, you're going to be making some serious bank with the Yak 3P. And that goes for any plane. If you specifically like the LA-7B or the LA-9, go ahead and put a Tailsman on it. You're going to be able to grind out the jets, of course, with the later props. And you're going to be earning some serious RP. Now, for the Russians, I can confidently say that this is my favorite premium in all of War Thunder. The Focke-Wulf 190 D13 is a magical plane. I'm not sure if they patched it, but I have hit 600 miles an hour in this prop. I have no clue how, but I have. In fact, if we go, the Focke-Wulf, okay. The D13 sits at 6.0, and it is probably, let's see if it has changed. Let's add everything back. And nope, the D13 is still number 1 on my list. 158 deaths, 231 kills. It's a shockingly good plane. Shockingly good. Better than the Spitfire in my personal opinion. It is one of the very few props that can compete with these early jets and still do fine. And so it has 3 20mm cannons. I do not regret buying this prop at all. It can be a little difficult because, like I said, you do face those jets sometimes. But this is the one premium. If I had to buy again, I would buy the D13. Trust me, learn how to fly. It may be a little bit annoying at first, but you guys saw my KD ratio. You will be so thankful that you did. Now let's go to America. I actually have the A8 on my other account. Awesome plane. It's redder than the American flag, I'm fairly certain. And it has 4 20mm cannons. A great troll plane. However, I would not buy it again. I would go for the Spitfire Mark 9. Personally, in the American lineup, I find it's a little bit better of a plane. It is only 0.3 of a BR higher. So you're going to be finding a lot of the same things. You may not have the firepower, and like I said, those one-hit wonder games that you do in the A8, but you will consistently be able to get 2 to 4 kills every single time in the Spitfire. Now, personally, because I don't play on a PS4, because I do have a PS4 account, I went ahead and bought the A26. Also, not something I would recommend doing. Personally, I dislike flying bombers. I find them boring. I would not do that. Now, here's what I've been using to grind out jets, and that is actually the F-84 with that Tailsman like I was talking about. So I earn 100% RP more. It's an extremely easy plane to fly. It's like easy mode jet. I'm able to get consistently 2 to 4 or 5 kills sometimes with this plane. I'm pretty much invincible as long as I stay up high and fast. And that's what I've actually used, other than the F2 Sabre, of course, to grind out most of these planes. Now, the F2 Sabre has grinded out, in fact, this entire F7F, F2H2, F9F2, and now it's going to grind out the F9F line, or the final one. But that's only because I've been trying to spade this plane. Other than that, I recommend actually putting a Tailsman on this plane. But if you are only at a Tier 3, I would probably go for the Spitfire Mark 9. I know it's a little bit expensive, but personally, I think it's the best premium. Unless you really like the P-47s, and I really can't recommend going for the P-51. It's not as good, in my personal opinion, as the Spitfire and the P-47. So guys, that's going to be just about it for this video. To wrap everything up and to just summarize everything, if you guys only remember a couple things, just remember that A, if you enjoy the game and you're playing it a lot, go ahead and buy that premium account, give $10 to the company, so that they can continue to improve their game. If you want to improve really fast, you're going to have to fork up some cash, sadly enough, and get one of their premium planes in a premium account. It will go by fairly quickly. Although it's still going to take some grinding, don't get me wrong. People think that this plus that is instant mode. It is most definitely not. And yeah, to wrap up the tactical section, just remember, personally, I think bombers for Lions, fighters for RP, take out the plane that you can consistently get the most kills with. Have fun in it. You gotta make sure you're having fun. I know that sounds stupid, but sometimes when you're grinding in a game, you can just not have fun at all. Make sure you're flying a plane that you enjoy, and it should go by fairly quickly. One thing that I do need to say to the new players is, you may see these F2 Sabres and this F-25 and the F-84 and the P-80 and the F-9Fs, and you may think that they're going to be so much more fun. And I'm not going to be one of those people that's, jets aren't fun, don't look forward to them. Jets are a ton of fun, especially for me, who I personally love speed. Jets are absolutely amazing. But some of my best memories from this game, and some of my best games still, continue to be in the Tier 3 and the Tier 4, even sometimes the Tier 2. And nothing's more fun than getting in a biplane and going and trolling. So just keep that in mind, guys. You do not have to be in the end game to have fun. So guys, if you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you guys have any other tricks or tips that you want to tell new people, let them know in the comments down below. Or if you guys have something you completely disagree with, you can also tell me in the comments down below. Although I don't really think there's anything to disagree with. Like I said, everything in this video was my personal opinion, and I can't really be wrong in my personal opinion. So guys, thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.